We have been putting a hold on all nominations. And I am certain that we're going to stop as much as we can any of these nominees. We have a hold on all of them. We should continue that hold. I will put a hold on the Department of Justice nominees if necessary.
Do you hold all nominees? Do you hold all Justice Department nominees?
We have a hold on all nominees right now.
Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal today on Capitol Hill telling reporters essentially that Democrats are ready to make Republicans work for it. As Senator Blumenthal's office told us just this hour, Democrats know they can't unilaterally stop Trump's nominees from getting confirmed in the Senate, but they do plan to make Republicans work as hard as possible for it. They can make Republicans use up as much valuable floor time as possible on each and every nominee, and that's what they plan to do. Slow the whole thing down as much as they are capable of. Now, that is along the lines of the advice that's been coming from one of the driving forces behind some of the protests you've already seen this week. Ezra Levin of Indivisible says Democrats should look back to the Republican playbook from 2009, just after Barack Obama was elected with a Democratic trifecta, when Republicans were in the minority and Democrats controlled the House and the Senate and the White House. He says, think what you will about Mitch McConnell and the Republicans' plan. That was a very effective legislative tactic from a party that found itself in the minority. Ezra Levin, former congressional staffer, co-founder of the activist group Indivisible. Ezra, thanks very much for being here. I appreciate your time tonight.
Great to be here, Rachel.
So Senate Democrats are now talking about slowing down Trump nominations and Senate action across the board. How does that sound to you? What are you watching for in their actions that you think might really make a difference?
It sounds good, Rachel, and I will say I think we are in a much better place right now with Senate Democratic leadership and the Senate Democratic caucus than we were a week ago. That said, today, 22 Democrats voted for another Trump secretary, 22 of them. So I like to hear from Senator Blumenthal, I like to hear from other senators that they are starting to agree to blanket opposition. I want to see the votes. I want to see the votes. And until we see those votes, I think what they're going to be hearing from their constituents is a demand that they fight back.
Ezra, I know you were at the protest at the Treasury Department that happened in Washington, D.C. today. You talked about that. I watched the video of your call with Indivisible activists on Sunday night. You talked about the fact that that protest was going to happen Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Tell me about what happened and what the aim was.
Well, let me tell you, about 10 minutes before that Sunday call, Leah, my spouse and our co-founder of Indivisible, she was texting with a lot of partners and said, hey, can we get this together? We ultimately got it together and were able to announce it on that call on Sunday. No members of Congress had agreed to it yet. We had gotten some pushback, but there is such palpable demand out there for leadership to fight back that once Democratic leaders started hearing, oh my gosh, folks are going to be there outside of Treasury, you know what they did? They started knocking down our door saying, can I speak? Can I speak? Can I speak? 31 members of Congress got on up to that podium to talk about how much they're fighting back. And you know what? I view that as a huge success. I'm not in this game to just yell at Dems and say, be better. I want to be cheering them on as a unified opposition. But what we've seen consistently is that what we need to get these Democrats in the Senate to fully lead a unified opposition is they need to hear from their constituents back home. That's what we need. I think we can get there. I think we can get there because this is exactly what we went through back in 2017. It's not as if Donald Trump won in 2016 and suddenly the Democratic Party was the party of opposition. It took overwhelming pressure. It took the Women's March. It took going to town halls in February of 2017 and then seeing with their own eyes, wow, there is demand for this. Our constituents want this. That's when we got them to actually lead that opposition. I think we're on our way there. We're not there yet.
Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader in the House, I was interested. He put out last night, I think it was last night, or it might have been yesterday afternoon, a 10-point plan for all Democratic members of the House. And it had a lot of different things that they're going to try to do and ways they're going to brief each other and communicate on things. But the last thing was, essentially, I command you, as Democratic leader of the House, to go to your home constituents to hold town hall meetings and to hold other events with constituents and people who are in your district about what is going on right now. And I want you to do it, he said, literally today. And if you cannot do it today, you need to do it this week. And we will be surveying every Democratic member of the House to see whether or not they do this. Now, as we have seen Democratic members, including in Virginia last night, start to do these town halls, they're packed to the rafters. People are desperate to be able to hear from one another and also to be able to, in many cases, yell at their member to do more. But the energy palpably seems like it is there, Ezra, if members of Congress and senators are going to essentially follow their leadership's advice, hold these kind of events, and hear from the people who voted them into office.
I love this move. I love this move from Leader Jeffries. I think this is a very good move. What I would encourage every single Democrat on the House side to do is use that convening power that you have. People are going to show up. If you build it, people will come. If you are out in this country and worried about what's going on, you got to show up to these meetings. And one big benefit of Jeffries calling for Democrats to do this is, you know who isn't holding public town halls to explain exactly what's going on in the Treasury Department, to explain exactly what was going on with the OMB funding freeze that attacked Meals on Wheels and Head Start? You know who's not explaining that? Republican members of Congress. They are embarrassed by it. So what a great opportunity to create contrast with the Republicans and say, look, we are here, we are listening to our constituents, and what our role is, people around the country are worried, show up. Show up not just by yourself, but get a group together. Get indivisible members or Working Families Party members or Move On members or whoever are your friends and family members and community. Get them together and show up in person. That demonstrates to your elected officials that you actually care about this.
Yeah, and if frankly, if you live in a district where you've got a Republican representative or Republican senator representing you, you should be demanding that they take town halls and asking them what's going on with this government, that they're part of it. Works whether you're in a blue state or a red state, blue district, red district. Ezra Levin, co-founder of Indivisible, thank you very much. Good to see you, everyone. Ezra, we'll have you back here soon.
Great, good chatting, Rachel.
All right. One quick programming note. Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, man of the hour, as we were just discussing there with Ezra Levin, he is going to be live with Lawrence O'Donnell on The Last Word tonight. You are not going to want to miss that. We'll be right back.